Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:33. And happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you.
Oh, my God, we're going to get loaded today.
I can't wait to make some Irish coffees.
It's going to be a nice rainy day today with a high of 52 tomorrow. Oh, boy, more rain with a high of 51. That shouldn't stop you from going out to Nathan Bill's today at 11 o'clock where I'm going to be drinking down Bud Zeros all night long. Yeah!
You know, you gotta set a limit on the Bud Zeros. Otherwise, you'll be puking all day long.
You know, if I drink 25 of those, I might not be able to drive. Take my keys away.
Sir, have you been drinking today? Yeah, I had 25 Bud Zeros.
That's 25% alcohol. My BAC is a .004.
And I really gotta go whiz.
Yeah.
Man, what a show today. Scott Cohen will be joining us. We'll be talking about your March Madness brackets. I'll tell you about everything that happened last week. And more.
Oh, there's a lot more.
I know there is.
Yeah.
And we'll get to it starting now.
We should just tell Scott Cohen to stay home because we have so much stuff going on.
Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Rock 102 is the expert of all things classic rock.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:49 and Foreigner with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be very rainy today with a high of 56. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 59. It is 56 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Gene Hackman had an estate worth an estimated $80 million, and his will leaves it all to his wife, Betsy.
I hope she didn't spend it all in one place.
It makes no mention of his 3 children from his previous marriage, but since Betsy died before him, that potentially renders the will invalid, meaning the kids would be next in line to inherit it. Betsy had a will, too. It left everything to Gene. I hope he doesn't spend it all in one place.
Is that part of the $80 million?
Maybe.
Was her million?
With the provision that if he died first, it would go into a trust and then to charity. I'm not a lawyer, but does that mean that if it was determined that Gene died first, their combined estates would have gone to Betsy and then to charity and not to Gene's kids?
I guess so. I'm like you. I'm not a lawyer, but that would be the assumption I'd draw.
This may be kind of morbid, but financially speaking, they kind of caught a lucky break.
This family tragedy winds up being the best thing that ever happened to anybody.
Yeah, $80 million for everybody. Yay! On a related note, although we all pretty much knew this already, authorities have confirmed that the dog was stuck in his crate when Gene and Betsy passed away. Most likely died of dehydration and starvation.
Well, that's sad.
Well,
That's the part of the story that's sad. Never mind the fact you had 2 other people dying in a tragic manner.
Well, I mean, the guy, he was the dog was next in line for the inheritance, and he's stuck in the cage, and now he's like, woof.
The dog would have been able to sign for the checks anyway.
I put a paw print right on the memo line.
I don't even know if the dog had an account.
He probably did.
What are you gonna do? Put him in a big stack of milk bones?
He had kennel. He had that kennel credit union that he was part of, wasn't he?
I don't know. I don't know the dog's financial situation.
Those songs that seem to pop up in every other TV show and movie. Some of them aren't as prevalent as you think they are, but these are the top 10 songs that have appeared the most in most films. This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan. 52 film and TV appearances.
What a wonderful song that is.
Push It by Salt and Pepper. Push it real good. 50 TV film and TV.
Mm-hmm.
At Last by Etta James. 49 appearances. Fix You by Coldplay. Ugh, Jesus, 42 times.
You would think that that'd be like the last thing that someone making a TV show looking for an audience would want to do is imply Coldplay into the show.
Fade Into You by Mazzy Star, 41 film and TV appearances. Here's a tie, which I thought would have been a lot more than this. September and Tub Thumping. So Earth, Wind, and Fire and Chumbawamba, 39 film appearances each. Which I feel like that should be a lot more than that.
I can't listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire without thinking of Tub Thumping.
Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves, 38.
Jesus.
Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye, 38. Escape, the Pina Colada song, 36 times. And here's another interesting stat. Since the 1950s, the decade whose music has been used the most in movies and TV shows is the 1980s.
Well, that makes sense.
The worst performing decade is the 2020s, which makes sense since it's only half over.
And there hasn't been good music to come out in the last 15 years.
It's followed by the 50s and then the 2000s.
Ah.
Yeah, the 90s got snubbed.
Hey, send that list over to me. I want to immediately make a playlist on Spotify.
Okay. You want that? You're not gonna.
Sure.
You're gonna listen to Coldplay, are you? Is that what you want to get into?
I celebrate their entire canon of work.
Kanye West tweeted out a new song on Saturday called "Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine." Is that the sunshine that shines on your swastikas while you're painting them on the
how many
side?
Jewish groups did he piss off with that song?
It features his daughter Northwest and Diddy. The track starts out with a phone conversation between Kanye and Diddy, who's on the phone from prison thanking Kanye for taking care of his kids.
Oh, my God.
Elsewhere in the song, North raps, quote, "Doing everything I wanted, that's the key to life. When you see me shining, then you see the light."
Yeah, a Kanye-Diddy duet at this point in both their lives.
Yeah.
Haven't we been asking for that for years?
Diddy's son, King Combs, is also on it. And it's a pretty graphic song, too.
What about his brother Dave Combs?
He also had a massive amount of baby oil that he was hoarding. When he moved out of his office, our boss was like, "Hey, what's with all this baby oil in here?" And then when they called him, he said, "Well, I got a buddy who's into that."
1,000 bottles of them.
Yeah. How far along are you in this situation?
What's your favorite oily substance story?
Gary, if you haven't seen this yet, I encourage you to watch it. I guarantee that no matter what you're going through, it'll immediately brighten your day. On the Apple TV show Slow Horses, Gary Oldman plays a guy who flatulates a lot.
Oh, I could have gotten that role.
So when he appeared on The Late Show on Thursday night, Stephen Colbert had a little fun with that. He showed Gary video clips of some of his movies like Harry Potter, Dracula, and The Darkest Hour, but with fart noises added to make it sound like his characters were ripping one. And Gary loved it. He loves those kinds of jokes. So,
you ever see like the interviews with like Leslie Nielsen? He's got like one of them fart buzzers.
Yeah.
Like he's on the Tonight Show and like ripping big fat ones right there on the set. Hilarious.
We
always funny.
When I worked at that other radio station, and we had this lady who would call in, and she would she would breathe a lot, and she would be very complimentary of all the DJs in there. So then one day, me and that other guy that used to work here, here at this station, we spliced it together by putting fart noises in between her breathing. And it's like, I just want to say I love Dick McDonough, and I love.
That's great stuff.
Yeah, it is good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Kim Kardashian actually tried my corned beef and cabbage recipe. She just simmered it in the Guinness all day.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Just had something to say.
Oh, my God. The last time I had anything that simmered in stout was when Ray J finger pinched the porn beef and stank babbage in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95.
Let's see. Caitlin?
Well, I never got that down dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but I once spoke Gaelic at the Celtic crotch. Pog mo groin. I tallywhacked the 4-leaf cleavage.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is I tongue-lapped the Dublin dribble straight from the Blarney bone.
Luck of the Irish to you.
When vertical Irish eye is smiling. And that's your Hollywood trash on Rock 102. Happy St. Patrick's Day!
Is that
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 6:08, and Led Zeppelin with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be a rain out today with a high of 56. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 59. It is 56 right now in downtown Springfield. That shouldn't stop you from going over to the Nathan Bills this morning.
No,
at 11 o'clock.
Absolutely not, because it's St. Patty's Day.
That's right. Oh, as I was going over the Franklin Prairie Mountains, I met Captain Carl and my buddy, he was counting. I first produced my pistol and then produced my rapier, saying, stand and deliver, but the devil he may favor, but shoo-rim-dum-a-doo-dum-a-da. Whack ball the daddy-o, whack ball the daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. Actually, there's neutral seltzers over at Nathan Bills. That's what we're selling today.
Are they in a jar?
I believe there's a couple of jars there.
No,
There's a couple
that's
of
good.
jars over there. But that should be a good time. Kick off the St. Patrick's Day by joining me for a cold one at 11 a.m.
You know, there used to be a time when we started at 8. You couldn't start serving beer until 8 o'clock.
You know, I miss those days when
Yeah.
we used to open the bar up and have people come in for some eggs, a shot of Jameson, and a Guinness.
Eggs and kegs, man. That was the way to
That
go.
was a good way to go.
Those are good times, good memories. But you know, I'm trying to look after my health right now, Steve. I'm more focused on trying to be healthy.
Well, first of all, let me be the first to say welcome back, and I'm glad you're alive.
Yeah, well, thank you, Steve. That was the entire intention of getting this done, is to prolong my life for as long as possible.
Yeah, because Ed McMahon's dead, and we can't do Star Search for another co-host for this show.
Gonna pretend I didn't hear that. So I had my ablation done on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Was told to get there at 12:30. Had to be there at 12:30 sharp, because there's no way I would have made it to that 4 o'clock procedure had I not been there at 12:30.
Yeah.
And that was the last one seen on Tuesday, the last one to receive the procedure. So
How many do they do all day long?
they're doing it like 15 at a time, 15, 16. I have no idea.
People need these things.
Actually, a lot more than you think.
Really?
The whole point of the ablation is, and you've probably read a lot about, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's got the AFib.
Ah.
And
What about Magic Johnson? What's he got?
he's got other concerns, but and we didn't pick it up in the same place.
I bet.
However, so basically AFib is like a heart arrhythmia. It's beating at its own pace and not the way it's supposed to. So one of the ways of dealing with it is medicinally, which is fine. And the other way of dealing with it, probably the more drastic approach, is something called an ablation, which they basically cauterize parts of your heart to reset the rhythm. Kind of like when you're rebooting a computer like 4 or 5 times because for whatever reason your computer isn't working.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know anything about that.
Right. I wouldn't know anything about that.
So what they do is they take a probe. See, actually, it's pretty cool. I actually had a CT scan on Monday, and then what they do is they take a probe, they stick it in you, like in your groin.
Yeah.
And then at the probe, there's also, you're hooked up to all these monitors. So they've got when you go into the operating room, there's a big, like 60-inch TV screen, and they superimpose the image they had on the CT scan with what they're monitoring in real time. So they're getting like a full, almost like a 3D image of going inside of you.
Now, how much is that service a month?
Oh, it's gonna at least as much as they'll charge you on your local cable systems or for streaming.
I mean, I know Netflix went up to almost $17 a month. How much is this costing you on the health plan?
It depends on whether you want to go for the ad-free version.
Oh, well, is that what it is?
Yes, because occasionally they'll be doing a procedure, and all of a sudden a Jardiance commercial will stop.
Oh, okay.
Stop it. Everyone's dancing with their rotting perineums.
Right.
Anyway, so the procedure is actually pretty quick now. It used to be like a 4 to 6 hour procedure. Now they were able to bang this out in an hour and a half.
Wow.
I know. And when I say groin, they're not going through your business. They're not going right up there. Like they're going on either side. So like, where your groin and the top of your thigh meet, that's where they're going in.
It's the taint.
It's not the taint. The taint would be down south.
Okay.
Okay. This will be like on
This is
either
side.
left or right, not top or bottom.
Yeah.
So, because somebody that we know apparently has been told he should have one, and he messaged me and said, "Do they go through your pee hole?" I'm like, dude, I said groin. It's not. They're not even dealing with your penis at all.
Who's that?
I'd rather not say, but he knows who he is, and I thought this is a guy who has never Googled anything in his life, apparently.
Okay.
Anyway, my point is this. So they have to go through the groin, and they have to shave you down.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Now, if there are any complications, they have to go into other parts of your body. So they not only shaved my groin area, they had to shave my chest and my back.
My neck, my back, my groin,
my
and
perineum
my
and my
sack.
crack. Right,
And your
exactly.
sack, yeah.
So they had to do like a full shave job. I'm talking about from my chest pubes all the way down to my ball fro. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
because you Sasquatch.
That's exactly
Yeah,
it. Now
yeah.
I am a hardy, hairy Portuguese man.
I was thinking that when you were telling me that last week. I'm like, they don't just shave the one portion. They shave everywhere.
Well, in this procedure,
Yeah.
they have to, because if they have to go into the chest.
Right, but you made it sound like last week like they were just going for that,
My understanding is it was just going to be a little manscaping.
yeah.
But it wasn't. It was a full-time head to toe type of prep job.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, my sister-in-law is a surgical nurse at Bay State.
Yeah.
So if you can try to imagine it, I'm in the room. My wife is there, and all of a sudden, my sister-in-law, is on a break, stops by and says hi.
Oh, man, that's uncomfortable.
Just as they were shaving
Yeah.
my balls.
Who was shaving? Was it a man or a woman?
It was a woman. She was
Yeah.
very pleasant, very
Yeah.
nice. So
Yeah.
we were chit
What
chatting.
I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So while my sister-in-law did not get a full eyeful of what was going on, she knows enough about many procedures to know that there's a time and a place to walk beyond the curtain and a time to not. And she chose to wait until they were done. But
She's a medical professional. What's the big deal?
well, yeah, but she's also family.
Yeah, so what?
Well, I know it shouldn't matter. I mean, she sees medical procedures all the time.
Wouldn't you like to really get to know your brother-in-law? Like, really get to know him?
I like my brother-in-law. He's a good guy.
Well,
And
no,
his
I'm
wife
saying-
is a sheer delight.
But I'm saying she getting to know her brother-in-law.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, she knows. I think she knows enough. I think she's satisfied with what she has seen so far. And I mean, I don't know for sure. I haven't really asked her for her opinion. But I got to tell you, this is something that you learn when you have a procedure that requires the groin.
Yeah.
The incision points have to be constantly checked
Yeah.
all the time to make sure there's no points of bleeding. Because I mean, you're talking about like they're going in through the vein, and so they want to make sure that once they pull everything out, and I believe they yank it out like they're starting like the ripcord of a lawnmower, like ring ding 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 ding, one of those things when they're pulling it out.
I prefer the electric starts, but go ahead.
Many people do, and I can understand why. Batteries operate cleaner and safer.
Absolutely.
But in this case, they're pulling it out, and they have to. So once it's done, I have to lie on my back for like 4 hours. I can't move. I just got to be in a lying down position. Now I'm asleep for most of it, so I don't even know this is really happening.
Mm-hmm.
But they're checking. And I would say, so I spent the night, left on Wednesday. I would say between Tuesday afternoon to Wednesday just around lunchtime when I was discharged.
Yeah.
more women had seen my crotch than my entire body count.
Hey, somebody's got to buff the hardwood floors down there.
I'm telling you what, man. My wife said, you love the hell out of it. I'm like, honey, this is purely clinical.
You know what? There's nothing sexy about that at all.
No.
I mean, you're in a medical setting. It's, if you were in a nightclub or something like that.
That would be different.
A bunch of chicks were coming up going, all right, let me...
Think about what we're talking about here, okay? First of all, I'm not only in a clinical setting, but I've also just been prepped. So I look like I'm either a 10-year-old boy or I've been in some sort of industrial accident. Because, a
10-year-old boy with a giant dong.
Well, yes.
Because you put it into perspective that way. When the trees have been trimmed.
Yeah, it looks bigger. Yeah. And I think there is some swelling involved and bruising.
Yeah.
So it's darker than usual.
Yeah.
And inflamed.
I think I saw a video on lobster tube like that once.
Maybe it did.
Yeah.
But
it involved the sister-in-law too, believe it or not.
Right, right. Now again, all very clinical and everybody was very professional. The nursing staff there was terrific. The doctors were great. And the good news is, I'm getting off one of 2 medications. And after my follow-up in May, I may get off the second medication, which is terrific. So that was really good. And there's no way I could have come in on Thursday. Friday, I might have been able to come in, but by 8 o'clock, I needed to lie down and nap.
I said the other day, I'm like, I don't know why he doesn't just take the third day off. I mean, what's the point of coming in one day to have 2 more days off anyway? You might as well just enjoy the time.
Normally, I would say it would be because of my endless dedication and professionalism.
Yeah, but, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think in this case, it was like it became quite obvious that I really was in no shape to be driving myself to and fro East Longmeadow just for this.
One thing that because you had put up a post on Facebook.
Yes.
About, certain things. Let me see if I can find this now. You had put up a post about how it was successful and, you were going to be all right, and people were, giving you good praise and congratulations, and, he'll get better soon. And I said, I rubbed my fig pouch against something personal of yours in the office. Good luck figuring out which one it is, right?
Right.
And then I get a screenshot from the boss upstairs saying, "Hey, check this out." It was, how Facebook now has that meta AI summary of what's going on in the comments? It says, what people are saying. Commenters wish the poster a speedy recovery, share personal experiences, and poke fun at their hospital stay. One commenter jokingly warns of a mysterious, quote, fig pouch incident, adding humor to the supportive message. Man, this AI thing is really coming along.
And we thought they were going to be negatives.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm glad you're okay, because I didn't really want to have to come in here and do another best of.
I'm sure the audience didn't want it either.
We run out of bits very quickly on that show.
Yeah, I know we did.
Yeah. But no, I'm glad things are going well. Are you back? Your rhythm's back to normal.
Rhythm
now?
is it's like Ringo is back in the band. I mean, it's like one of those things now. He's just keeping time beautifully. And I want to thank everybody that did write and acknowledge and all that stuff. Obviously there was not enough time or enough interest to write back to everybody, but I appreciate everybody that did. Wish me well. It meant a lot.
Welcome back, Bax.
There you go, man. Absolutely great. I'd like to say it's great to be back, but I mean, it's also great to be home.
Well, you can treat that heart with a nice cold pint of Guinness this morning at 11 o'clock over at Nathan Bill's. You can come and join me. As I was going over.
The Cranberry Mountains.
And
with Captain Burl
and my money he was counting. I first produced my pistol, and then produced my rapier. Blah, 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 blah.
It's 6:22 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's 6:25 at Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown has the full St. Patty's Day forecast for you.
Hey, this week on Baxy's Musical Podcast, my guest is the former lead singer of the band Kajagoogoo. Remember those guys that you did Too Shy?
Hush, hush, eye to eye.
Yeah, those guys. Well, anyway, Lamal not only did that song, an international hit in multiple countries, he also did the theme song to the film Never Ending Story. You may remember that film from many years ago. Another international hit. Well, anyway, he's got a brand new single that's coming out on March 25th. It's actually a new danceable version of A Horse with No Name by America. It's actually done very, very well. But it's a really cool interview, and his career is actually very interesting. And you can hear that interview on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, as well as on the app. And it's all brought to you by Metro, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
Sweet. Hey, this week is Pet Poison Prevention Week, and we're going to be talking with somebody from the Good Dog Spot coming up at 8:50 this morning, to celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Well, if you were to leave like the boiled onions in your corned beef, that's not healthy for a dog.
It isn't?
Onions, garlic.
Really?
Yeah,
my dog
healthy.
ate all that stuff. He's still fine.
Yeah, well, you might want
a human trash can.
You might want to check on him later on.
No, he's fine. He'll be fine. The dog ate an entire tube of Desitin once. I think he's going to be okay. Pet Poison Prevention Week. Come on. Come to my house for a couple. I'm going to say that to her when she comes in. Come to my house for a couple days. What was the other thing I wanted to mention about that? Oh, yeah. People have been making the corned beef the recipe that I put up on TikTok.
And they're raving about it, right?
Yeah, they're raving about it. But one guy, I don't even know who this is. I had a comment on on my video on Instagram.
Yeah.
And of course it's open to the public, to do the comments and whatnot. And some guy said, this isn't Irish. Bad recipe, something about you, and you come off as creepy. And it was some guy named Flanagan something. I don't even know.
What the hell is he even talking about?
I don't know, but I really wanted to know what made me creepy. Do I have a creepy vibe to me? Do I come off as some sort of weird dude?
I don't want to say you come off as a weird dude.
I want honesty. That's what I'm looking for, Bax. You can tell me if I look creepy or if I feel creepy.
I didn't think in that video you came off creepy. I mean, other things you do,
yeah,
sure.
There are other things that I've done.
But in that particular situation, I would have to say no.
I just wonder what goes through people's minds sometimes.
Who can tell?
When they do that. Hey, you want to laugh?
I want to laugh.
All right, let's do that.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day.
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
On Rock 102.
I make you laugh.
Springfield's Classic Rock.
Hey, what's the difference between an Irish mother and her daughter?
I don't know. What's the difference between an Irish mother and her daughter?
About $5.
That's going to get you in trouble.
They're kind of whores,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bax and Nagle in the morning on Rock 102. Springfield's Classic Rock.
Here's your Western Mass News First Alert Forecast.
Rain moderate to heavy at times this morning will come to an end as a few showers by lunchtime.
Just about 6:32 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Where's the Irish music? Don't we have any other Irish songs?
Yeah, I happen to have some Wild Rover.
Been a wild rover for many a year, and I spent all my money on whiskey and beer. I'll never play the wild rover no more, 'cause it's no nay never. Oh, nay never no more will I play the wild rover. No nay never no more. It's the old Bax and Nagle show this morning.
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you. How is that heart ablation? I think you should pump yourself up and get that heart going with another shot of Jameson. Let's go!
Now that a few Irish car bombs couldn't take care of.
How about a corned beef and egg sandwich, huh?
Dipped in butter, please.
Yes, there you go.
Anyhow,
happy St. Patrick's Day out there. This is the day. Most bars open at 8:00 in the morning. You know, the good ones.
the ones that actually show a little bit of initiative and embrace this as maybe the best bar day of the year.
Applebee's still opens at 11. You got to go to a place that opens up at 8:00 in the morning.
I was at a gathering yesterday of some people were having a discussion about whether I was going to go to the road race or to the parade.
Yeah,
and all I'm thinking is, I barely made it here. You never mind being amongst all the mucky mucks and drunky drunks of Holyoke over next weekend. But you think about it. Monday you got St. Patrick's Day. Then you got to train for the road race, right?
Yeah.
You can't just run. You got to train up to it. So you should be, incrementally microdosing as much Irish whiskey and Smittix as much as you can between Tuesday through Friday.
That was my favorite Irish beer was the Smittix.
It's delicious.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Guinness. I'm not a Guinness fan. I told you it's like leprechaun diarrhea. It's disgusting. So especially when it comes out of the tap like that.
Yeah, see, I kind of like it.
You know, when they used to host us at the John Boyle O'Reilly Club, and they'd show, there was that one hot-looking girl, the bartender, who used to be able to do draw the shamrock on the top of the foam.
Yes,
mine would come out much something that looked like a rusty sheriff's badge because that's where it came out of. Right into the glass.
Looked like a little burnt starfish.
Yeah, because you know what? It comes out the same way it goes in.
Mm-hmm. I don't find that to be true. I actually I find it to be filling and delicious. But
I found it good for cooking.
Yes, given a choice though, I'd take a Smittix.
You know what? I'm going to do another corned beef today, and maybe I'll do it with the Smittix.
I'm sure it's delicious, but there's something about the heaviness and full bodiness of the Guinness that I actually kind of like better.
I'm gonna try it.
What
What's
the heck?
the difference? What the hell's the difference, right?
What the heck?
I got a local butcher one, the corned beef.
Oh, really?
This guy brines it himself.
Where'd you get this?
I can't say.
What's it rhyme with?
I can't say that.
What's the approximate town and street
I'm not telling
address?
You because I don't want anybody going over there and taking all the.
He's a local butcher. He wants people to go to his place.
Northbound Butcher Block. Let's just say that. It's not though.
It is.
Well, they got meat there. I mean, they got good meat there.
I hear it's a real meat market.
But this guy that I go to, he brines it himself, and it's like
that's the way to do it.
It's so much better than buying that whatever that packaged stuff is in the store. I'm all about the corned beef in the month of March, and then as soon as March is over, that's it. I don't eat corned beef like on purpose.
It's like turkey in November.
Yeah.
Or maybe like for Christmas. But once the holidays are over, who has turkey like in June? They're available.
They are.
But no one ever does it. I don't know why.
What? Because it's kind of expensive. I mean, corned beef itself, I mean, you're lucky if you can find a good one
but
for less than $5 a pound.
But once $5 a pound, considering like what it costs you for like chicken or beef.
Yeah.
It's not that much more.
No, but I'm talking about a good one. A good one's like $8 to $9 a pound. So, I mean, now you're spending a little extra money, but it's kind of worth it. And if you're only doing it once a year, it's not like I'm cooking these things all year long.
If it's done well,
then
it's worth it.
That's what I do. I have a little corned beef jar, a money jar. Every time I swear, it's the swear jar.
Yeah,
that's my corned beef money for March. Because I've spent probably like $200 worth of corned beef in the month of March.
Really?
Yeah, with the prices now, look at this stuff.
Wow, it's crazy.
I eat a lot of corned beef in the month of March.
The kids like it like you do?
One of them likes it like I do, but even then, it's a little too much for her.
I don't know. I mean, I can do it like a couple days in a row, but then I need a break, like anything else.
No, I can eat it. I can eat it almost every day, just for March.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a Shamrock Shake, which I had, by the way, the other day.
How was it?
You know what? There's nothing like a Shamrock Shake. it really has this distinct flavor to it that is something that almost can't be duplicated. It's something about that synthetic milk that they use.
Oh, I know.
And all the other chemicals that go into the Shamrock Shake.
Last year, my wife and I said, you know what? It's the time. It's the time of year.
Shake time.
Shamrock Shakes are out. Let's go.
Yeah.
We go to McDonald's. We went to one on Allen Street.
The machine was down. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We go through the drive-through. So 2 Shamrock Shakes, please. Machine's busted.
Yeah, they don't have that problem anymore. They changed it. Changed either they changed the brand name of the machine. Something happened there where enough people had complained.
I didn't even get in we apologize. It's not available. Just go. Machine's busted.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. Like, dude, I went out of my way to go all the way to Allen Street. Granted, it's practically a straight shot from Hamden, but nevertheless, such disappointment to bring yourself all the way into Springfield and that part of the city to only drive away feeling dejected and sad.
When I was in college, we used to go get those and mix booze with them.
Oh, yeah.
That was some good stuff.
We used to mix grasshoppers all the time, man.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
We'd take Bailey's and Jameson and throw it inside the Shamrock Shake. And,
delicious.
And it would be like a very thin liquid because we put so much booze in it that, that was enough to keep you going for most of the morning on St. Patrick's Day.
It's a great hangover helper.
It is St. Patrick's Day, which means one annual event is right around the corner, the Holyoke St. Patrick's Parade. We're now officially less than 1 week away from the highly anticipated St. Patrick's Parade. The parade will kick off marching north on Northampton Street before turning right onto Beach Street. It will then continue east on Appleton Street before turning left onto High Street, provided all the floats don't get flat tires from the potholes in the city.
Where is the absolute best place along the parade route for public urination?
I believe behind the dumpsters at the Racing Mart on whatever that street is. I don't know if it's a Racing Mart or whatever it is. That's where I've seen a city councilor do his business before. Hey, you gotta go.
And here I was thinking he was just trying to help his constituents.
See, if they just do it in the middle of the street, they wouldn't have to spend all that money on street sweepers. Yeah. It's called the Holyoke Councilman Pressure Washer.
It's the cleanest the city's ever looked.
What does it run on? Bud Lights and Jameson. Yeah, the committee says road closures typically begin an hour or so before the start, which is important to note, but has been moved up this year to a start time of 11:10 a.m., so they recommend planning so there is plenty of time to get your viewing locations. Exit 15 and 16 on I-91 may also be closed by the state police. The route is just over 2.5 miles, so there'll be lots of space to see the festivities and get immersed in the spirit of the Irish. If you can't make it in person, the parade will be broadcast on 22 News. The coverage starts at noon. Also, next weekend is the 10K Road Race, which is the largest race in Western New England, kicking off a big weekend for the city of Holyoke.
It's the biggest weekend in Holyoke. Yeah. I mean, 50 weeks a year, you can make the case, maybe I don't really want to spend a lot of time in Holyoke. But for those 2 weeks, you gotta be a part of it.
Well, over the weekend, Holyoke police officers seized an illegal firearm and arrested 2 suspects after responding to a disturbance. Around 9 p.m., I don't know what day this was. It was last week sometime. Holyoke police officers responded to 348 Chestnut Street for a disturbance involving an individual allegedly armed with a firearm. Isn't that redundant? Armed with a firearm? Or you could say armed with a knife, I guess.
Or you could say he's carrying a firearm.
Yeah. When officers arrived, they located Ray Giovanni Serrano standing at an open door of the vehicle. Further investigation showed that the disturbance allegedly began with 2 juveniles arguing over social media, and adults became involved. Serrano allegedly threatened to shoot a firearm. After reviewing video and speaking with witnesses, officers placed Serrano under arrest, and the car, later found to belong to Idala Marie Orizal, was towed. Serrano was charged with threat to commit a crime and assault with a dangerous weapon. He was arraigned in Holyoke District Court on Friday and released with a condition that he had to wear an electronic monitoring bracelet. On Thursday, Holyoke detectives applied for him, were granted a search warrant for the towed vehicle, and inside the car, they located a semi-automatic firearm and additional ammunition. Orzial went to the Holyoke Police Department seeking to get her car back, and she was placed under arrest on firearms charges. Holyoke Police worked with the Springfield FIU.
Hey, what's with the mouth?
And located Serrano on Bartlett Street in Springfield. He was placed under arrest for the second day in a row. But come on out to the road race this weekend. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a damn good time.
Yeah, not that I'm complaining about this. But interesting that I was not invited to participate in any bar events this week for the road race or the parade. And I don't know if
what's the matter?
the bars really needed my presence.
Listen, what do you need all those blood thinners for when you can have a nice Irish car bomb at 11 o'clock in the morning?
That's the truth, right?
Yeah. I don't. Where's your sense of adventure? Listen, my dad, he had heart surgery, and within probably 2 weeks, he was back to drinking the Bud Heavies again.
Well, he was a professional.
You know why?
Why?
Because you only needed 2, because the Coumadin mixed with the Bud Heavies
really
drove it home. You really didn't need to drink that much. See, I'm losing weight. I don't have to drink as much as I used to anymore.
Of course, I'm covered in bruises.
That's okay. We'll just eat some spinach like Popeye to make sure that my vitamin K gets up there and I won't get bruising anymore. Anyway, your Pioneer Valley forecast.
Klotz Nagle, what they used to call him.
You know what? That pause there was just me going back in time. It's like my own little personal DeLorean inside my head. 88 miles an hour. Back to the past. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today. You know what? I just had a memory. You want to hear a memory?
Sure, why not?
My sister had, this is years ago, this is back in the 90s, and my sister, had her kids come up and stay with us for a week, my niece and nephew. They were, probably like 4 or 5 at the time. I was like a teenager.
Right.
And then we have home video of this, of my dad like trying to act like a leprechaun because it was St. Patrick's Day. He was trying to act like a drunk leprechaun. It would be okay if you were just playing with the kids, playing with the grandkids,
Sure.
saying funny leprechaun stuff. But he's half in the bag and he's like, Aaron, go bra. Aaron, go wash your bra. You see what I did there? I did that. That's what the Irishmen say, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what they say.
That's what they were saying. They were telling a girl to go wash her bra.
The only thing missing is your dad throwing rocks and bottles at Protestants. That's the only thing missing.
Well, no, he just did that at me. I was the Protestant of the house. Little car bomb when you want to take the car out? Good luck starting it today. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be rainy with a high of 56. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 59. It's 55 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's 6:51 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
You can join me out at the Nathan Bills today at 11 o'clock as we enjoy some neutral seltzers. The old Irish drink from the old country.
Ah, yes, just like they did when St. Patrick drove the rats and snakes out of Dublin.
And they all pushed them all over to Nathan Bills, and now we're going to have a neutral seltzer there.
Speaking of bar events, Pat Kelly is going to be broadcasting live from Tap Sports Bar at MGM this Thursday from 2 to 6 for Hoops and Hops.
Yeah.
Tap Sports Bar is your home for for the men's basketball tournament. Thursday, you can enjoy specials on Coors Light, Miller Lite Towers, and 16-ounce buckets and tap food specials. Pat and the Road Crew will also have your chance to win some great prizes. The first 64 people to stop by the Rock 102 table will get a chance to pick a random team for the tournament. If your team wins, they'll score a tailback Blackstone grill. That's a good prize, courtesy of Coors Light and Miller Lite. It's Hoops and Hops at Tap at MGM Springfield this Thursday, 2 to 6 with Pat, Coors Light, Miller Lite, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
Lots of Irish stuff going on this week. Well, that's the March Madness thing, but I'm sure you can get some Irish grub.
Oh, sure.
Taps. But like I said, I'm going to be at Nathan Bill's this morning at 11 o'clock. I'm definitely going for those Irish egg rolls. You ever have those over there?
It's like with corned beef in them?
Yeah, it's 3 crispy egg rolls filled with the house-made corned beef, cabbage, carrots, and Swiss cheese served with spicy Thousand Island sauce.
That's
yummy.
good, man.
And then they have Irish balls for $11. And
You would think
Yeah.
you'd be able to get those much cheaper.
fried potatoes, potato balls mixed with bacon, roasted corn, and cheddar cheese served with bacon ranch sauce. That sounds good. Now, when I did a blind taste test with Joe Sullivan, that's not what I tasted. He was pulling the old Irish switcheroo on me.
Now,
I think it was what he was doing.
We can say that because we know Joe. He's got a good sense of humor, and I'm sure he won't take that personally in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but this sounds a lot better than that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's what I'm saying.
No question about it.
Good time.
Speaking of March Madness, we'll have Scott Cohen in here in just a little bit, and then we'll also give you a chance to win tickets to the Western Mass Home and Garden Show, which is coming up on the 27th through the 30th of the Big E. So that's
Home and Garden.
A Home and Garden Show.
You see the weather yesterday? It was like tropical weather. And then it got super windy last night.
Oh, I know.
Probably like after 5 p.m. But it was nice out. Even though it was overcast, it was still like, ooh, that's a nice breeze. I like that fresh tropical breeze that we're getting.
Yeah, it's nice, but but then again, things are blowing all over the place. You got to pick up your stuff.
My porch swing blew over.
I told you we went to like a friend's house yesterday. They got one of them big giant roosters, those big metal rooster like statues.
A cock-a-doodle-doo?
You could make that inference. Anyway, they're real heavy. I mean, they're real sturdy, and he had it, spiked into the ground. Well, the wind knocked it over.
He blew his cock-a-doodle-doo over.
Yes. I didn't realize you could do that. I mean, the wind you'd have to have some very substantial wind blowing.
On your cock-a-doodle-doo.
Yes.
Yeah.
To have it,
Wow.
go in a different direction. It was a very impressive cock-a-doodle-doo.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
I'm not sure why you told me that story.
I'm just saying, it just popped into my head. I thought it'd be an interesting story for those of you who are into poultry and fowl.
Was it the Irish balls story that brought the cock-a-doodle-doo out in you?
It might have been something similar, related in some... Oh, my God, look at this time.
Hey, whoa.
6:56 on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Well, folks, here it is. It's March Madness, the greatest event in sports. 68 teams from all over the country, filled with players whose names, images, and likenesses will likely be completely forgotten once they faced almost certain elimination. Why, it's such a harsh reality check that it almost makes a young basketball player wish he or she were in college just to get an education. But that would be wrong. The whole purpose of their college scholarship is to earn money, obtain endorsements, and if they can earn college credit at the same time without having to pay for it, then so be it. Now today, I'll be filling out my NCAA tourney time brackets. Your top seeds in the men's division are Auburn, Duke, Houston, and Florida. Now, it has long been my belief that the best way to judge which team has the edge depends largely on how much you'd be willing to spend to send your kid there. In this particular case, the University of Florida charges just $45,000 a year to attend. Houston only charges $40,000, so they're out. But if you were to send your kid to Auburn, you're looking at a bill at $56,000 a year, which gives them a much better chance. But the real edge goes to Duke, whose full annual cost of attendance will run you a cool $88,000 a year. In other words, I'm picking Duke, not just because it's a fantastic institution of upper learning, but because they know how to convert tuition dollars and Pell Grants into national championships. And so, I don't know how anyone in good conscience could bet against them. Now, you might say, but Baxie, what about that school that you went to? Marquette is the number 7 seed in the South against 10th seeded New Mexico. To which I would say, believe me, at $68,000 a year, they don't have a shot. So picking them for a national championship is almost as stupid as paying $88,000 a year to send your kid to college where they can enjoy paying down that $352,000 debt with a lousy bachelor's degree. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Get your Scott's 4-step now at Rocky's. $95 with your Ace Rewards card. Plus, spend $150 on Scott's products, you get a $25 bonus reward. Plan ahead for a lush summer lawn. Get everything now and get a hell of a deal at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:09 in Motley Crue with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Wet St. Patrick's Day today, high of 56. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 59. It's 55 in downtown Springfield. Oh, it's March Madness! The famed Kerry Mountains. I met Captain Farrell and the money he was counting. I first produced my pistol, and then produced my rapier's hand. Stand and deliver, he will see me, Black Father Daddy-O, Black Father Daddy-O, there's whiskey in the glass. Welcome Scotty Cohen into the studio here at the old Bax and Nagle show.
What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, there you go.
The Wild Irish Rovers, Scotty. What do you expect?
Yeah, gosh. Well, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Top of the morning to you, Scott.
Yeah, you too, man. 100% Irishman here, all grandparents born in the old country. I'm legit.
That's like a unicorn. Being like 100% of anything.
100%. It's not even, and I actually did one of those, the DNA test things that were, I guess they're still big, but anyway, and they show you on the map, like, where your people are from.
Okay.
But I took the DNA test, they showed the map of Ireland, and literally, you could take one of those small little Dixie cups that you use for mouthwash, put it over the area, draw a little circle around it, and that's how insular. I know that my relatives were up to no good.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't surprise anybody since you're the only guy who I know has a cocktail tattoo in his forearm. So,
what county is your family?
Roscommon.
Roscommon.
Yeah, it's on the west coast. They owned a farm. The whole thing.
Yeah,
literally. A small little circle. So I'm legitimate. And you're going to where?
Nathan Bill's at 11 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
We're going to kick off the Irish Week.
Nice.
They got all kinds of stuff going on over there this week with concerts and the road race party and all that stuff. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm going to be, we'll be up in Northampton. Fitzwillies is the place to go. I don't think I'm going to make they do a Jameson toast at 10 a.m.
No, you don't want to miss that.
I think I'm going to miss it. I have a little commitment, work commitment. But I'm going to try to get over there about 10:30, 11 o'clock and hang out for a while.
I'm going to this little hideaway called McBaxendale's that you're going to love it. I love going there. It's great.
I'm going to go taste some Irish Bulls over at Nathan Bill's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good times.
We'll get into the tourney time stuff in just a little bit. There are some other things. Last week when you were here, we talked about how the Patriots hadn't done much in free agency. The moment you walk out the door, all of a sudden they've signed 8 guys.
Yeah, so, but listen, that's great, and some impact players, but all on on the wrong, I suppose it's never the wrong side of the ball. I mean, you need to be a good defensive team, and Vrabel's a defensive guy. But for a team that averaged like less than 25 points a game last year, they've really done nothing to improve the offense.
Which makes me think that they're really focused on what they want to do in the draft.
Hopefully.
Because at this point, linemen and receivers are like the two biggest. David Andrews being cut. I'm not sure I understand that one, but nevertheless, they must be looking at something in the draft that is going to patch that up, because that right now is a glaring concern.
It is, and it's like there were you can sit here and name 4 or 5 receivers that were free agents, and they did nothing with any of them. I mean, Cooper Kupp being the most recent one. And he didn't sign for crazy money. The Patriots could have afforded him. They didn't take a shot at him. And
there's a lot of concern about Kupp and about his health and whether there's issues that could lead to worse problems down the road. How many times do you see that where a highly touted receiver
absolutely
gets cut?
But Bax, I still think he might have been the best receiver on the roster. Despite the fact that, he might not be 100%. But like you said, the draft's coming up, and I guess you just have to trust them.
I mean, there are still free agents out there.
Yeah, but all the good ones kind of got there. there were superstar free agents who ended up signing with their own teams, and then there was like a handful of guys who were good, solid players that signed elsewhere.
Yeah.
I was just surprised they didn't pick up anybody.
I have absolutely no problem shoring up a defense.
Yep.
To
Me too.
That's a really big. That's always going to be necessary.
It is.
But I agree that it would be nice to have gotten a few more tools for Drake May.
Something to get us excited. You don't get excited about defensive linemen and people like that. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's the draft's coming up, and we'll keep our fingers crossed.
All right.
All right.
Can we talk about the basketball thing now?
Yeah, we can.
All right.
Yes, we
help
can.
me make my picks here.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, help you make your picks.
Well, I'm on the Rock 102 Bracket Brawl website.
Okay,
and,
fair enough.
I haven't made my picks yet. Let's start in the East.
All right, how about this?
Yeah.
So did a lot of reading after the selection show and this morning, and you check all the guys who are the quote-unquote experts on CBSSports.com, ESPN.com. One thing that I saw that was, to me, kind of like glaring is, you've heard me use that term, the chalk. When you say the chalk, that's an old horse racing term, and it means the favorites. And you got a kind of a chalky taste in your mouth with this NCAA tournament. These guys had the Auburns, the Floridas, the Dukes, and the Houstons. I mean, almost to a man, all going to the Final Four. They didn't really there wasn't a lot of upset specials from the experts when it got down to crunch time. So take that for what it's worth.
Typically, when I fill out my brackets, I try not to have all four number one seeds in the Final Four, because something always unpredictable happens. Yep. Houston has been a tough team all year, but Auburn winds up looking the best out of all of them.
They were the overall number one seed.
Auburn. Okay.
Yeah, Auburn's solid, buddy.
What about Louisville or Creighton?
Louisville or Creighton. Let me see. Stand by. Where are we here?
Louisville is 8th. Creighton is the 9th seed.
All right. Louisville and Creighton. Let me find it. Here we go. I've got Louisville winning that game. So.
All right, Louisville.
I'll pick Creighton on that one.
All right. Michigan and UC San Diego. I like Michigan in that game. Okay. Right. One of my first upset, I like Yale. I'm picking Yale to beat Texas A&M, the 4-13 game.
That's a good upset.
Yep.
That's Yale's a tough team.
Texas A to mouth, is that what that is?
No, I believe that's
no, that's actually Texas ATM, because
that's what it costs to go.
They pay the players. Another upset, I like excuse me. I like Ole Miss out in the first round, and I think that San Diego State U is going to beat UNC, and I've got San Diego State U winning their first round matchup.
Well, wait a minute. San Diego and Ole Miss are in the same round.
Yes, but you have SDSU and UNC playing the play-in game.
One of the play-in games.
The winner faces Ole Miss.
Play Ole Miss, and I think North Carolina's going to fall, and I also think that Ole Miss is going to fall. Bud Marquette, giving your boys a pass in that one. I got them going on to the next round.
You know what? Let me just give you a little heads up on Marquette if you're filling out your brackets. They were at one point number 5 in the country. And then in the last month and a half, they fell off the table and could not close out wins at all. So, and they completely blew the whole thing in the Big East against St. John's.
Yep.
They may make it past the first round, but they're not going far after that.
Okay. I like Michigan State to beat Bryant.
Yep.
All right.
What about Iowa State? You missed that one.
Iowa State.
Over Lipscomb.
I like Iowa State.
Pick Iowa State.
Steve, got Iowa State going on.
All right. We're done on that set.
Florida beats Norfolk. Okay, number 1 seed.
All right.
I like UConn to beat Oklahoma. Colorado State, upset special there. They beat Memphis. Colorado State moves on to the second round.
I don't know about that one.
All right, that's fine. Maryland beats Grand Canyon. I like Drake beating Missouri and 11 beating a 6.
Hate the Drake.
Hate the Drake. Texas Tech, a winner in that game. I like Arkansas to beat Kansas, 10 beating a 7.
It's Arkansas.
Arkansas.
This is the one I want to see. St. John's and Omaha. What I really want to see is Omaha beat the living bejesus out of St. John's.
I know, but guess what, buddy? That is not going to happen.
What's the predicting score for the clinching of that game?
St. John's and Omaha?
Yeah.
I think St. John's wins going away.
What do you got? What do you got for a number? Give me numbers. Give me numbers.
Total score?
No, it
combined?
says prediction for the final score of the clinching game: St. John's versus
70
77.
70 to 56.
Ooh, you're talking about blowout.
Wow.
The hell?
Damn.
I'm strong on St. John's, despite the fact that we don't like Rick Pitino.
I don't like Rick Pitino, and if he loses, I hate to think what restaurant he'll be having sex in after the game.
On a table somewhere.
All right, hurry up. We got
Exactly.
16 more to go.
Okay, over on the other side of the bracket, Duke, a winner in the 116 game, no doubt about it. I like Baylor to win.
Baylor, I like.
I like Oregon. I like Arizona.
All right.
Over Akron.
I like VCU to beat BYU. A number 11 beats a number 6.
All right.
Got Wisconsin winning.
Wisconsin.
St. Mary's beats Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Alabama beats Robert Morris.
All right.
And then in the
we
Midwest.
go Houston, Gonzaga. I like McNeese State to beat Clemson.
Get out of here.
Are you kidding me?
Really?
The McNeese State Cowboys from Lake Charles,
No,
Louisiana,
I'm going with Clemson
the
on that
pride of the Southland Conference.
I'm going to pick your picks, and then we'll see how wrong you are.
That's
next
fine.
week.
I like his own picks. I would pick Clemson in that one. I don't think McNeese has a chance in hell.
All right, we got Purdue beating High Point.
Yep.
Illinois wins that game, no matter who they play.
All right.
Kentucky beats Troy.
All right.
I like Utah State to semi-little
UCLA.
upset against UCLA.
Okay.
And we got Tennessee beating Wofford.
All right.
Those are
the first round games. I think VCU is going to win a couple of games. You guys. Let's see. And then I have Arkansas beating Kansas in the opening round, and that's going to be John Calipari against Rick Pitino in the second round, and I got St. John's.
Is there a way that both teams can lose?
How about this? How about this? Pitino against Calipari, and aptly enough, the game is being played in Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh,
so
how perfect!
I think that goes without saying.
I hate Rhode Island.
So, and I think I've got St. John's going to the Elite Eight. Okay. Any other upsets there? And then after that, it's kind of the chalk. Auburn, Michigan State, Florida, St. John's, Duke. I don't know who's going to win that VCU Alabama game. I got Houston going to the Elite Eight, and I have Tennessee going to the Elite Eight.
Okay.
So how about if we just leave it at that?
Leave it at that. See what we do for next week.
Yeah.
But but anyone who's filling this out, I mean, there are certain things that you can expect. It's only happened, I believe, once when a 16 seed beats a number 1.
Yep.
So you can almost guarantee that is not going to happen.
That's probably not going to happen.
But when it comes to the games like 5 and 12 seeds,
that's
or
all
8 and 9 seeds.
Yeah, those 5-12 games are always big.
You're always going to see at least one, maybe two, possibly even 3 or 4 upsets in the first 2 rounds.
Yep, and if you want to have a successful, well, first of all, that's what the tournament is all about, is the teams that aren't supposed to win who do. That's what makes it exciting. And if you're going to have a successful bracket, 2 things. A, you've got to be able to pick the dark horses here and there. You got to pick those upsets, and then you just have to hope to hell that your number 1, number 2, or number 3 seed isn't the victim of that first or second round upset.
Now let's go through your women's brackets.
All UConn, and UConn. That's how. But that's
that almost sounds like you didn't even fill them out. You misogynist, sexist little jerk.
So the selection committee made the UConn men wait until the bitter end last night, and I'll bet old Dan Hurley's was tightening up really, really, but they threw the Huskies out west where they belong. Mm-hmm. Let's see, how the 2 UConn teams can do.
Well, as I said, every year for the last 29, 30 years, this is my favorite sporting event of the year.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
I got a buddy of mine who is checking into MGM with 4 of his friends. They're staying there Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. They're going to the golf simulator. They're going to gamble. They're going to the steakhouse, and they're going to watch all the games and never leave the casino. That's how big this week is for a lot of people.
That sounds like an alcoholic problem.
Well, it
that
could
doesn't sound
be.
like a basketball problem.
Interestingly enough, it's only 12 steps from the bar to the sports book.
Exactly. So there it is in a nutshell.
Very good. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week, and we'll see
how you do.
See how we made out.
It's 7:24 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Practice.
It's 7:27 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown has your full leprechaun forecast this morning.
Bacon and Brews is back, and it's brought to you by Dave Miner Exterior Home Improvements and Aqua Pump. Join us at the Log Cabin on Sunday, April 13th from noon to 3 for a big bacon and craft beer themed bash. Your admission includes all the bacon-inspired bites that you can pack down your chow pipe by the Log Cabin chefs. There'll be a cash bar with a selection of local craft beers like Backy's Brewing and Loophole, plus live music from the band Stimulus, and a whole lot more. Tickets are on sale now, but I'm telling you right now, there's less than, what did they say, 30, 50 tickets? Not many tickets are still left. So you got to get on the stick right away, and you got to be over 21 with a positive ID to enter. It's going to be a great time. Bacon and Brews brought to you by Dave Miner Exterior Home Improvements, Aqua Pump with help from Nor'easter Organic Life Hydroponics, the Tommy Carr Auto Group, GG Inks, and Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
You spent some time out in Wisconsin.
I did?
I did too. One night. It was like a month. Felt like a month.
I was in Wisconsin for a month one night.
Yeah, there you go. That was the one I was trying to get at. Do you know Don Gorski?
Don Gorski.
Yeah. He's 71 years old. He's from Wisconsin. Just hit another milestone. You might know him by his better nickname, the Big Mac Guy.
Yes, I do.
He had his first Big Mac in 1972 and loved it so much he ate 2 more. Then he went back the same day and ate 6 more, so 9 total, and he hasn't stopped. He's averaged 2 Big Macs a day for 53 years, and he just hit number 35,000 on Saturday.
Yeah, I do know who this guy is, and he's a nutcase.
He did it all at the same McDonald's in Fond du Lac, where he bought his first Big Mac. Fans and media were there for it. He handed out commemorative buttons and coupons for a free value meal.
Listen, I'm not besmirching the Big Mac at all. Lord knows I have had my share. But I don't love anything to have that be the only thing I eat ever.
I like Big Macs. I don't know if I could have more than 1 a week if I had a challenge of eating them.
Yeah, well, that's it. But I can't think of anything else in the entire food world that I would say I would eat this every meal.
He's been open about having OCD and says it's why he's so obsessed with them. He claims that they make up at least 90% of his diet. So he walks 6 miles a day to make up for it. I remember we had a guy on the old show, the old show here years ago, talking about like weight loss and stuff, and how a lot of these things are just gimmicky things. And I remember the guy saying, he goes, yeah, you can have a Big Mac diet and go to walk to McDonald's 6 miles a day, go eat a Big Mac and still lose weight because you're burning off a lot of the calories, and call it the Big Mac diet. But if you don't have any physical exercise, you're definitely you're gonna
die. You'll die.
I don't know how this guy hasn't had any like coronary issues or anything.
Well,
like
he
that.
may. It may just not have resulted in him dying yet.
He earned a Guinness. Well, he's 71. I mean, you think with somebody with eating all that saturated fat every day, you'd probably have an artery clog.
Well, you can say that, but I mean, all the major food groups are taken into account.
Yeah, you got 2 beef patty. Well, go ahead.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun. You got it all.
He earned
the entire food pyramid in one small cardboard box.
He earned a Guinness World Record in 1999 after 15,000 Big Macs, and he takes the record very seriously. He claims he saved every receipt and every Big Mac container. That's gross.
Ooh, he kept them? To do what?
The residue one. I mean, you can't always the sandwich doesn't look like the picture.
That's all right.
It looks like a fur burger is what it looks like. He actually had to dial it back last week.
No, it doesn't.
To make sure he hit 35,000 on the nose. In the 3 days leading up to it, he only had 1 Big Mac a day. So congratulations to 35 Big Macs to Don. It's a miracle you're alive. I can guarantee you there is a radio host in Milwaukee right now having an orgasm over the fact that this guy lives not too far away from him.
You know, I had a buddy that liked Big Macs, too.
Yeah. What else do you like special sauce on your buns, huh? 293-1021.
I just feel like the two of us just became the luckiest two sons of bitches in the world.
Yeah, we're 800 miles away from all of this madness.
It's 7:32 on Rock 102. 7:35 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news, and it is brought to you by Aquapump, an expert in all water supply systems from the well to the pump and into the house. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Where's our Irish music?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was too busy doing other things. Okay, here we go. Okay.
That one? Yeah.
You want another one? You want whiskey in the jar instead?
Whiskey in the jar. I think that would be better.
Let's see if I can get you a whiskey in the jar here. Okay. There we go.
Oh, as I was going over the Friendly Prairie Mountains, I met Captain Farrell and loved me. He was counting. I first produced by pistol, and then produced by rapiers, and stand and deliver, and blah, 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 blah. Whack for medallion, whack for medallion, there's whiskey in the jar. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Bax. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's going to be a wet one out there today. With a high of 56 degrees, just like it was in the old country.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, who wants a Guinness enema today?
Many years ago, when before I came here, I was working in Milwaukee, and back then they still don't. They didn't have that law.
Did you room with the Big Mac guy?
They didn't have the law that Massachusetts has, where you can't go to a bar and be served alcohol until after 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Back then, they would start at 6 a.m.
Oh, that's a good time.
So on St. Patrick's Day, we would begin our broadcast at 6 a.m. at a bar. And thankfully, it was not far from my house or my apartment at the time, so I could literally stumble to get there, which was very convenient. And it would start at 6 o'clock, and you get the regular third shift crowd, going at the bar, knocking down a few pints, doing shots, what have you. By 8 o'clock in the morning, it was, hey, show us your teas. It's like a very It's interesting what a rapid decline happens after just 2 hours of alcohol consumption.
Oh yeah. Things get louder and louder and louder, and
it may take a good 45 minutes to get to that "I love you, man" part, and then another 45 minutes to start swinging and throwing chairs at people.
Yeah,
I mean that's what it really boils down to.
I think I was 19 years old, and I went with my brother down to South Amboy, New Jersey. That's where he lived, near South Amboy, New Jersey. This was back in the 90s, and they had, what was it? It was one of these towns that had these giant St. Patrick's Day parades. Actually, South Amboy, New Jersey used to be in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the most watering holes within a square mile.
No kidding.
Yeah, there was literally one on every corner. There was a neighborhood bar.
Interesting.
On every block. And I remember, nobody was checking IDs. We started out at 10 in the morning drinking, Bud
Why
Lights.
so late?
Well, because, we had to get down there.
I was going to say, it's such a late start.
Well, the only responsible thing we did that day was get a cab ride to the parade and a cab ride home from the parade 11 hours later.
So you were in great shape.
Remember I told you that was the one and only bar fight I was ever in?
Oh, this is the one?
That was that particular night. And, you wake up the next morning with a hangover. I don't miss that. I don't miss doing that. I think it was fun when I was that age. But to continue to to do that year after year after year.
Some of that is your age.
Yeah.
But some of that is the fact that you're not drinking anymore.
Yeah.
And so the appeal of it isn't really what it used to be. When you're young and stupid,
Yeah.
you just keep on going. If you're an adult that can just not let go of your irresponsible youth, you still do it.
Yeah.
Because it's still fun. But then you say to yourself, I don't know why I did this. I'm still hungover 6 days after St. Patrick's Day.
Well, 22 News has got you covered. Today is St. Patrick's Day. Before you head out the door, 22 News is working for you on how to celebrate safely. Here's the safe way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Stay at home.
You can drink in your own house.
St. Patrick's Day is known to be one of the deadliest days on the road. Oh, they always have to put some kind of bad twist to it. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, during the holiday between 2018 and 2022, 290 people were killed in drunk driving crashes. AAA encourages people who are celebrating to plan a ride home. Whether it's a designated sober driver, taking a taxi or rideshare service, using public transportation, or staying overnight at the location of a house party. Honestly, with the availability of all of these things, Uber, Lyft, a taxi, you should have no reason to go drinking and driving. Like there's enough access that people can use. And let me tell you, from personal experience, an Uber is a lot cheaper than an OUI charge.
Even if you puke inside the Uber, it's still cheaper than an OUI.
Yeah, see?
It may seem expensive at the time.
How much is clean a puke out of an Uber?
$200.
$200?
Yep.
That's you know what? You know how much an OUI is? At least $10,000 you're going to be paying in court fees and everything else,
plus bus passes.
Yeah, and you're not killing anybody.
Yeah,
you're not risking killing anybody. So it's.
I mean, I realize that there are some people who will say, well, everyone's using Uber tonight. It'll be taking me forever to get to my car.
Yeah.
You know what?
So what? Wait.
It's still worth it.
Worth the wait. AAA says to be vigilant when driving, especially overnight, when most drunk driving crashes happen. If you spot a suspected impaired driver on the road, call 911 immediately.
I listen. I don't want to take anything away from any business that is that is reliant on a day like today to bolster their entire stream of revenue. But if you're out tonight and it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, you probably should have knocked off a few hours early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like after midnight, it's like, boy, might now be the time to get back.
Yeah, I have no desire to be out, especially on this day. Like going over to Nathan Bill's at 11 o'clock. That's a reasonable hour.
Yeah, but you'll be home by like 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the latest.
Right. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But still. But not a bad day. Being out at 11 o'clock at night on a St. Patrick's Day in the middle of the week. Ugh.
I know.
God. That's not something. Speaking of big drinkers, Karen Reed is taking her double jeopardy fight to the second highest court in the nation. A federal judge
Now, is that with the audio daily double, too?
Yes, I believe it is. Yeah. A federal judge denied Reed's petition to drop 2 of the 3 criminal charges he faces in state court in connection with the death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, last week. But the judge, U.S. District Court Chief Justice Dennis Saylor IV, found Reed's lawyers made the necessary substantial showing of the denial of a constitutional right to allow an appeal to go forward. Reed appealed Saylor's decision in the First Circuit Court of Appeals, potentially forcing the delay of her second trial on all charges, which is set to begin on April Fool's Day. Lawyers for Reed have argued in both state and federal court that any retrial on charges of second-degree murder and leaving the scene of an accident causing injury or death would represent double jeopardy. Is it double jeopardy when it's a hung jury? Was it a hung jury? Or was it how did that work out?
It was a mistrial.
Mistrial. Right.
Yeah.
So a mistrial, you're not being charged with, it's not double jeopardy if they're retrying a case.
I think if there is I don't know this for sure. I think if there is a decision, they're not going to charge. They're not going to try you a second time. If it's a matter of a mistrial or a hung jury, the state can always choose to re-prosecute you.
Yeah.
And obviously that's what they have chosen to do in this case. So they can do that. I don't know how. Again, I don't know how this becomes a double jeopardy.
Yeah.
A double jeopardy situation.
Either way, I mean, if you're looking for a gal who knows where the best watering holes are, I bet you Karen Reed has a few. They let you take the glasses right with you as you walk out the bar. It was found next to my dead boyfriend. Somebody in the house must have killed him.
You remember that guy, the one I thought I might have killed?
Yeah. But you know, the most important thing is my mom says my sleeves look good on TV.
Which is what you want to do. That's why she put my name in all my underpants.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be rainy with a high of 56. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 58. It's 55 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Got a house with...
It's 7:52. And Aerosmith with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be rainy today for your St. Patrick's Day, but that shouldn't stop you from coming out to Nathan Bill's this morning at 11 o'clock. That's where we'll be serving up the old Irish drink of neutral seltzers. But we'll be there from 11 to 1 with the Rock 102 road crew.
Which was St. Patty's bougie drink of choice.
Well, it was Guinness, Jameson, and a neutral seltzer. You can't have all those calories. You got to watch your weight.
I'm going low carb. I'm going to need something that doesn't go right to my thighs.
It was that Leprechaun was suffering from AFib, and he had to get his heart jump back started. And
that's right.
Neutral seltzers.
And you'll be there representing the official ablation station.
There you go, ablation station right here on Rock 102.
Hey, Rock 102 and Aquapump want to send you to Boston Calling this Memorial Day weekend. One lucky listener will score a pair of 3-day passes to check out a great lineup with bands like the Black Crowes and the Dave Matthews Band, Sheryl Crow, and a couple dozen others. Enter at rock102.com before the end of the day on March 30th for your chance to win. It's a chance to go to the Boston Calling from Aquapump and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
Yesterday, I went to what the hell was it? First of all, I did that staged reading over the weekend.
Yeah,
with all these radio people.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually a good time. I don't know. The Exit 7 Theater needs to change it to Exit 50, whatever the hell it is now, 50 something.
What's there's like the new 57.
But it's still called the Exit 7 Theater over in Ludlow. Nice little theater. I'd never been in there before. We did 3 rehearsals last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we had the shows over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And how'd you do?
I thought I did okay. I thought I did all right. There's. You got to remember, there's a lot of talented people locally.
Where?
Locally.
Here?
Yeah. I mean, you get to see some of that talent showcased over the weekend. This was a local play written by Michael Buster McMahon, and it was pretty good. We had a good time. We had radio stars like Bo Sullivan.
Wow.
I'm name dropping here.
Yeah, man.
Bridget Lynott.
Shut the front door.
And surprisingly, they're no longer on the radio anymore.
Well, but still, I mean, present and past stars.
Yeah.
Who else was involved? Anybody else of note?
All right. So the narrator, right?
Yeah.
The whole week we're doing these rehearsals, and this guy's got this great voice. He's got this great, like booming voice, and he's very articulate, and he knows what he's doing, right?
Okay.
But I'm closing my eyes, going, where? I know he's he's a commercial guy, like he must be doing like commercials and stuff like that. And finally, Bridget Lynott says to me, I feel like I want to buy furniture now. And I go, who is that? And she goes, that's the guy from Eddie's Furniture commercials. It was Peter Hicks.
Oh.
And the guy's got this, he's got this, cadence about him that's very good. And he played a great part. He played the band leader. It was like the narrator of the entire thing. It was a pretty good thing. And I played a con man in a 1930s screwball comedy. And I also played in the second act. I played an author whose characters come to life in a murder mystery book.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Sounds compelling.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I missed it.
Well, I mean, I would expect you. I wouldn't have expected you to go because.
Well, you don't never say never, Steve. I mean, I do get out from time
Whether
to time.
you had an ablation or not, you probably wouldn't have been there. You
Probably.
probably would have found something better to do.
Oh, no, I'm sure I would have supported you.
We had a couple employees from the station go over the weekend. The two people upstairs in the promotions department.
Oh,
and
no
and
kidding.
the manager, yeah.
I'll be
They
damned.
came and they watched the show.
Look at you.
How about that?
How about that, huh?
Yeah, see?
Wow.
I had support from somebody around here.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Show a little bit of interest in the things we do.
Well, I also slipped them a 50 note to show up and say nice things.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did.
Well,
it
that was money well spent.
But but what I was really trying to say was after this whole thing was over, Casa Pizzeria. I got a pizza from Casa over in Ludlow.
Yeah.
Supposed to be that Dave Portnoy, highly rated thing.
Sure.
Pretty good pizza. And then I don't know. You know how like you get into things and then people send. When you notice something and then all of a sudden you keep noticing it. Well, somebody sent me an article about Connecticut unveiling pizza-themed license plates.
Okay.
The state of Connecticut has secured its very own pizza-themed license plate. Why? I don't know.
For the same reason that we're selling Dr. Seuss, low number plates here in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Connecticut's pizza guru, Colin Kaplan, worked with the Department of Motor Vehicles to create a pizza-themed license plate after state leaders secured Connecticut as the pizza capital of the United States. Not New York City or Chicago
New Haven has kind of got the market cornered on, apparently being the best in the world.
The idea is that you put your license plate on your car like a normal license plate, and it's got a pizza slice, and it says Connecticut Food Share, and the best thing, the pizza state on the very bottom.
Now, is this the same arrogant attitude that also gives the state of Connecticut the feeling that they can call themselves the basketball capital of the world?
Yeah, that arrogance.
It is a bit of arrogance.
Kaplan said the intention of putting Connecticut Food Share on the license plate is to create awareness after the food bank lost its federal funding earlier in the week. So at least it's going to a good cause.
Okay.
Because, we support food banks. I'm not in opposition to that. But donate the money directly. This is what I've been saying all along. You can help an organization by donating directly to that organization versus trying to go through the middleman of the RM or the DMV of Connecticut.
Yeah, but there's always going to be somebody who wants the status of a pizza plate or a low number Seuss plate.
Yeah.
It's status.
Well, you can get a low number plate, $134 registration fee plus $10 shipping and handling for $144 to drive around with a pizza slice on your license plate.
Would I just rather get a bunch of pizzas and bring them home instead?
Why don't I just use my regular license plate as a pizza plate and drip the sauce all over it and then put it back on the end of the car, and that's my pizza plate.
And then overcharge you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, with the personalized license plates, yesterday I see one. There was a guy over in Ludlow that had the whole back of the car was David Bowie themed, and the license plate said Bowie something.
He's a big Led Zeppelin fan, right?
Huge Led Zeppelin fan. There was pictures of Robert Plant all over the damn thing. It's just, what are you doing?
People like drawing attention to themselves.
Why?
I don't know.
The last thing I want to do is draw attention to myself.
That's why we do a radio show.
No, I mean like out in public, like driving around. I will never drive that station van.
It's 8:00 at Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's time.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Well, folks, it's time for March Madness, and if you're like me, you're spending the entire day going over the important variables involved in filling out your NCAA tourney time brackets. Because you see, March Madness is more contagious than a worldwide pandemic, like Ebola or COVID. And while that's not nearly as fatal, it is a pre-existing condition, and I'm not sure my brackets are going to survive the weekend. Nevertheless, you can be assured that everyone else's brackets will be crapping out too. It's just a matter of when they'll sustain the most amount of damage. Now, one of the things that brings the madness into March Madness is the distorted belief that you have a psychic aptitude to complete a perfect set of NCAA brackets. And I'm here to tell you that no, you do not. Even with the slightest understanding of rudimentary college basketball statistics, you have no better than a 1 in 120.2 billion chance of completing a perfect set of brackets. There are only 8.1 billion people on the entire planet, and they don't know much more about college basketball or the tournament than you do. In other words, the odds aren't great. Now, if you were to fill out your brackets using nothing more than a far less accurate coin toss, your odds would be 1 in 9.2 quintillion. That's a 9, a 2, and 16 zeros. And the only reason I know this is because I looked it up and counted the zeros. Twice, to be sure. What does any of this mean? It means that you have a slightly better chance of winning the lottery 15 times, finding a cure for cancer, making out with Taylor Swift, and meeting Jesus in the next 15 minutes than you have of correctly filling out a pristine set of fully correct NCAA brackets. That's also why Rock 102 is offering up $1 million in prize money if you can do it, because we know you're not going to do it either, because we can't even afford 2-ply toilet paper for the Rock 102 bathrooms and had to beg for our own coffee maker. You think we got $1 million lying around the place for a bracket competition? Please. So let's try to remain level-headed over the next couple of weeks, because the tournament, while great, is still madness. And madness ain't great when your expectations are way below your psychic or intellectual abilities. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Sure, you can paint your house, but you're going to need some help along the way. That's why you need to see Steve-O at the Liberty Street Rockies. Pro painting crews count on Steve-O, and he can help you with pro painting tricks and advice. Good people and rock-solid service at every Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 9:14, and Thin Lizzy with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Hang on a second. Hang on. Just getting some fresh roasted beans here.
Oh, yeah. No, we just...
right out of the coffee pot.
Steve, the barista, Nagle, just poured me my first cup of coffee of the day.
Venti Red Eye for Baxy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's me.
I put extra caffeine in it because I know that I'll keep your AFib in place.
Now, is this where the fig pouch landed?
No, it's something else.
It's something else.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Good to know. Good to know.
When you see it, you'll smell it. Oh, as I was going over the friendly Terry Mountains, I met Captain Farrell and his money he was counting. I first produced my pistol and then produced my rapier, saying, stand and deliver, blah, 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 ring da ba doo da ba die. Whack all my daddy-o, whack all my daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar. All right, it is St. Patrick's Day. If you feel so inclined, you should join me. I'll be over at Nathan Bill's this morning from 11 to 1.
Now, are you doing anything specific there, or are you doing like breathalyzer tests?
Well, we're giving out swag, stuff like that, Irish
good.
swag and T-shirts and all that good stuff.
Good.
And we're just celebrating the day. You know, what better place to do that than at a local watering hole like Nathan Bill's?
Not only just the watering hole, but a beloved one at that.
And you know, we're plugging the neutral seltzers. Mm-hmm. You know, the old the drink from the old country.
You know, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
I believe that is a drink that is not sponsored by, but endorsed heartily by such famous Irish residents as all of you two, the guys from Thin Lizzy.
Oh yeah.
Some other Irish people.
Were the guys from Thin Lizzy Irish?
Yes, they were Irish.
Really?
Yeah, they were Irish.
How many other Irish bands do we play?
Well, let's see. I think we could play Van Morrison from time to time. What other Irish bands do we play? Off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody. But yeah, they're out there.
There you go.
They're out there.
You do have here's some stats or things for St. Patrick's Day. Green beer is always popular on St. Patrick's Day.
You know what else is popular?
What?
Green puke from the green beer.
Well, that's another Irish phrase. I puked all over me shoes.
Or, I don't care about me shoes.
Yeah, they're covered in puke. They're covered in leprechaun diarrhea. The Guinness spilled all over me.
That's true.
Yeah. But green beer is always popular. Here's a list of other stuff that might cause some colorful bathroom experiences tomorrow for you.
Okay.
Google Trends looked at the top green food each state Googled more than other states this year. Some are specific to St. Patrick's Day, and some are just green food you might eat pretty much any time of the year. Lots of green drinks. Green mimosas in Nebraska and West Virginia. Green Jell-O shots in Georgia, Virginia, and Kentucky. Irish margaritas in Texas. You know, you got to mix that Mexican-American stuff in there, right?
What goes on the rim of an Irish margarita?
Oh, you don't want to know there, Patty.
That's because all I can think of is what's on the rim.
Leprechaun pubes. That's what's on the rim of an Irish margarita.
Make mine a double.
Yeah. Grasshopper cocktails in New Mexico and green whiskey sours in Wyoming.
I like the idea of the grasshopper because it's not only a delicious drink, it freshens your breath.
It's creamy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's creamy. It's got that minty and chocolate.
Green lemonade in Kansas. That's lame.
Kansas.
Green smoothies in South Dakota. That's even lamer. Shamrock shakes in Illinois, Montana, and Hawaii. And 2 more states are adding booze to theirs. The Shamrock Shake cocktail in Mississippi and the Irish whiskey Shamrock Shake in Louisiana.
See, now suddenly I respect those 2 states for making the most of it.
Now, if you want to move on to like desserts, things like shamrock cookies, shamrock cakes, and grasshopper pies are top searches in multiple states. Mint brownies are big in the Midwest. Green sprinkles are a top search in New York, and Vermont and Alaska might just love key lime pie in general. That's something you can eat all year long.
You don't need a specific holiday for key lime pie.
Here's some disgusting things though. Savory dishes. Green spaghetti in Arizona. I mean,
that is so unnecessary.
I know it's just food coloring, but there's something about that. Well,
I mean, they do make the spinach pasta.
Yeah.
So that's green.
Yes, but this is like spaghetti that has been dyed green in order to be served. You know, I mean, I'm sure, again, it tastes, it's like making green eggs and ham. It's still eggs and ham. It's just green in color.
Or those people that will make like the mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Green. That looks like you sneezed on it.
Pesto is big in Oregon, Nevada, and Missouri,
which is so Irish.
Green eggs in Indiana. Green deviled eggs in New Jersey.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
I don't even like deviled eggs to begin with. You make them green. Gross.
I don't mind the deviled egg, but I don't need them to be green.
And California's going full Dr. Seuss with the green eggs and ham because he lived there for so long.
Surprised they hadn't done the avocado thing.
The most Googled St. Patrick's Day recipes in general were corned beef and cabbage, which is ironic because they really didn't have access to that because of wasn't it just the potatoes, and then the potatoes went by the way of the dinosaur for a while there?
I think, and I could be terribly wrong about this, that the whole corned beef thing is really more of an Americanized thing than anything else because apparently boiling meat is the only way they knew how to cook food.
Yeah, anybody who's been making that recipe that I shelled out there says it's pretty damn good.
It's really good.
You know, when you simmer something in a stout all day long, of course it's going to be good. Except for that one guy who told me I was creepy. And
well, that one guy's a jackhole. He doesn't have any idea what he's talking about. And somebody, and I'm going to tell you something. Let me just go on on record here. Somebody texted the Route 10 Tire listener line and said that your recipe sounded gross, and the only corned beef they like comes from a Hormel can.
Yeah, that's gross.
That is the language of an ignoramus because that's not even food.
That's a pretty popular item, though, because they have that under lock and key in the Walmart. It's like one of those. It was a video I saw. The guy going to getting the Armor. It was Armor. Is that what it is?
Yeah, or Hormel.
Hormel corned beef locked up under one of the like they lock up Axe body spray at the good CVS.
I mean, I can understand locking up a Sudafed because you can make that into meth, but what are you going to do with that? Make hash for everybody?
Yeah,
illegal hash.
Yeah, I'd rather have the fresh corned beef to make hash out of.
I do like corned beef hash. I'm a big fan.
You know, it's an easy way to do that.
No.
You get tater tots.
Ooh.
And you air fry the tater tots.
Yeah.
And then you take the corned beef, and then you take the tater tots. You kind of put a little butter in the pan there.
Yeah.
And then you take the tater tots and you mash it up with one of them like mashers, like the potato mashers.
Yeah.
With the corned beef.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, you got yourself some corned beef. You can add onions. You can add all kinds of stuff to it if you wanted to.
Is it wrong to say that I'm fully aroused?
But it's a lot easier than, it's easier to just get a bag of frozen already cooked potatoes than it is to do it all yourself.
Yes. I mean, you could easily go to a breakfast restaurant and have them do it up for you.
Yeah.
And I got no problem with that at all.
This guy says, my wife is from Ireland and corned beef and cabbage is a fake American thing. Yeah, I didn't think it would be. That was something that somebody came up with.
But do you have any idea how many Italian dishes are only American? Or how many Chinese dishes are Americanized?
Well, the Chinese food that we eat isn't the same Chinese food that they eat.
No.
There's no golden fingers over in Beijing.
There's not?
No.
What about the crab rangoons?
No. Well, there might be some crab rangoon. It's probably a lot better than it is here. I mean, I
can guarantee it.
Yeah. I remember my parents used to boil the crap. They would ruin it. And that's why I didn't even like corned beef for a good part of my life until I had it a different way.
I don't think I've ever not loved it.
Yeah, but see, I didn't like it because it was boiled. They would just put it in a pot and boil the hell out of it. And then with no flavor at all.
Well, you got those little flavor packs.
And it would be like eating sawdust. It would be like eating a big, eat your corned beef.
See, your recipe is savory from top to bottom. There's nothing in that thing that isn't delicious on its own.
Yeah.
So when you combine them all together, it is a succulent melange of deliciousness.
Yeah.
You lovingly handled in a fondish way.
Lovingly handled in a fondish way, and it goes down the gully easier than a boiled. You have to use that's why they drank so much beer and whiskey. To wash down the boiled corned beef.
You know what? And I'm not saying I dislike this stuff. I know we're on short on time, but if you were living in a flood zone,
yeah,
okay, and the river was starting to crest its banks, the one thing that could possibly absorb all that flood water, an Irish soda bread. 99% of the time, an Irish soda bread is the driest thing I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, I'd rather go with the Polish rye.
I would too. I don't mind the flavor of an Irish soda bread, but doggone it, there are cinder blocks with more moisture.
I got that Polish rye from Chmura's. Is that Polish?
That's Polish.
I got that from.
And did I steer you wrong on that one?
No, that was probably one of the most delicious rye breads I've ever had.
You're damn right.
And we might maybe we'll get some cakes from there for the cake czar thing. They got some thing.
All right. Good to know.
So saddle up yourselves and enjoy your St. Patrick's Day and join us over at Nathan Bill's for 11 o'clock. I woke up with a pound of headache and my pants were a missing, but we're going to go enjoy a good time with some Irish balls.
It's 8:26 on Rock 102. It's just about 8:30 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Yeah, somebody sent me these pictures of, on the Route 10 Tire listener line, of Bill Belichick with his 23-year-old girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like laying on a beach with his legs stuck up in the air while she's like doing this dirty dancing final scene thing. Where he's like lifting her up. And I'm thinking, is he dead and it's just Weekend at Bernie style and she's just using his corpse as a plank?
Because his hands and his legs are straight up like rigor mortis style, so it's possible.
God. I just don't get what you have in common with somebody who's 40 years younger than you are.
I don't know. I mean, my wife and I are 10 years, and sometimes that's a lot.
But that's reasonable. But it's a reasonable age,
right?
And at least you understand. There might be some disconnection of pop cultural things, but
with him and her, it's everything. They've got nothing in common in context.
But it's one of those things that makes you think this is for the money. like she's just doing it for the money
I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure there must be something that he's providing.
What? Seriously. What is those? He's not a conversationalist to begin with. But what are those conversations like?
I don't know.
Oh my God! I just picked up my Snapchat. What are you saying? What are we doing over there?
We're moving on to Cincinnati.
Why don't you come over here and
we're
rub Daddy's head over here? Oh, come on over here.
Yeah, we're on to the Jets.
Yeah. All right, can you call the bus to the old folks' home so we can play Parcheesi this afternoon?
We're really thinking of Parcheesi.
I don't know. There seems to be such a disconnect.
Something must be amiss between the two of them, but yet this has gone on longer than I think many of us would ever have dreamed of.
Yeah, because she's waiting for him to die. She probably convinced him to put her in his will.
It's 8:32. News is next to Rock 102.
Here's your West.
8:35 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Oh, Baxie, it's the St. Patty's Day here, and we are getting loaded here this morning. There you go.
There, I got it.
Always I was going over the flaming Kerry Mountains. I met Captain Farrell and the money he was counting. I first began and then produced my rabies and stand and deliver by the penalty to save me by showing da-ba-doo-da-ba-da. Whack call the daddy-o, whack call the daddy-o, his whiskey in the jar. Oh, I done puked all over me shoes. My liver hurts to the touch.
Oh, I've got this big box of rocks and bottles. Time to start throwing it at Protestants.
Ascites my ass. I've got an Irish basketball on my front of my chest. We're out of whiskey now. What do we have for breakfast?
Cirrhosis!
All righty, Blair! Look at me, you funny one more time. I am shoving a shillelagh up your bum. Pogma groin. I think that's what we say around here. Whack all the daddy-o. Whack all the daddy-o.
Well, being drunk and weary.
Don't mind me, just looking for a wee bit of mischief this morning.
Just when you thought this show couldn't get stupider, we find a way to bulldoze through that line.
You know, I don't just like me gold, I also like a good cuddle after a pint of whiskey.
I love St. Patrick's Day, where me and my drinking buddies can sit around and talk about our feelings.
You know, Baxie, what's the difference between a good shamrock and a good kiss?
I don't know, Steve. What's the difference between a good shamrock and a good kiss?
One's lucky and the other one's just dirty. Why am I talking like a pirate now?
I don't know. Because, there's a thin line between leprechaun and Irish pirates.
Ah, my love, I might be a little bit cheeky, but at least I know how to charm you, lass like yourself. Come over here and let me have you kiss my Blarney Stone.
This is such a fun day.
Is it?
Well, I mean, at one point.
I've got big dreams, but I've got something bigger down in the leprechaun sack, if you know what I'm saying. We should just keep the bar sound behind us the entire newscast.
All right, I can do that, sure.
There you go. The sounds of my youth and my adulthood and my afterlife.
Let me ask you this, Patty. Which step you on this week? Are you on the step 9 already?
I can't ever get past step 4.
That is the tough one.
Yeah, and don't ever get me to the step 9 where I have to keep saying sorry to everybody.
Oh,
if I had to do that, I would never live another day.
Another round of amends for all me drinking buddies.
You found me gold, but can you find my lucky spot? Show me your 4-leaf cleavage there, girlie. Show it up.
Let me make my personal inventory.
You know, a kiss under the rainbow's all well and good, but what about a squeeze under the secret hideaway, if you know what I'm saying there, girlie? Oh, yeah. Sure, I might be small, but I know how to leave a big impression, if you know what I mean. Another round of Jameson for my friends. You know, gold ain't the only thing I've been hoarding in this keister. I got plenty of secrets right here. You found a lucky spot under my hat, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Why do the bar sounds keep going in and out? Is that me blacking out again?
I think that's it.
We need to put that on a loop for some reason.
I think we do. For whatever reason, somebody thought a minute would have been enough.
I'm also skilled with a bit of charm.
Lucky Charms?
Oh, Lucky Charms.
They're magically delicious.
The marshmallows just melt in your mouth.
Pink stars, yellow moons, a 2.8 on the breathalyzer.
Oh, I love it. That's my favorite Irish drinking game, is how fast can we get the BAC up? I was at a .42 the other night. Oh, man, I'm up to a .9 right now.
Maybe next year, Patty.
Oh, it's not just me gold that sparkles. Take a look at my urine under a black light. You'll see it shine a mile away. You can see that from Galway.
When drunk and pee is glowing
and right into your eyes.
It is the day I'm arrested for my 15th DUI.
You know what they call me? They call me a bit of a pocket rocket, love. Small in size, but I know how to give you a wild ride through the old country. And that's country without an O, by the way. We have a guest coming in a few minutes.
I know, and this is a newscast of which we've done no news.
You think clovers were lucky? Let me show you how lucky I can make you feel. Let me pour some Guinness down that gully down there for you. Oh, yeah. Drink it up. Drink it up. A little leprechaun diarrhea for everybody.
I think the audience passed out.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, that's all I have for news this morning. Yeah,
no one was expecting much more. And you know what? Bars have been open for 42 minutes serving alcohol. I'm sure half the audience is in the bag already.
Well, you got O'Brien's Corner, you got Nathan Bill's, you got Collins over in West Springfield.
You got all of Holyoke ready to get juiced up.
Yeah, Holyoke is, Francie's Tavern. I bet you that place is hopping right now.
I bet it is.
What's the other place that we used to go to?
Brennan's.
Brennan's is probably hopping.
Sure.
What else? What do we got?
Well, there's, what's the one that moved up in the, why am I blanking? The one that moved up to Slancha. What is that? They were at Eastville Mall.
Donovan's.
Donovan's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, listen, if you want to, take an Uber. That's all you need to do.
You know what? You can take 2 Ubers, too. You can take an Uber from one bar, call another Uber, they'll take you to another bar.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yes.
It's like an Uber drinking train.
The Uber pub crawl.
Me shamrocks aren't the only thing that are green. You should see my toes after a week's worth of drinking. Hi, me luck's with you, but after a few pints, you might find out just how lucky I can make you feel, lass. Show me that little leprechaun treasure under the kilt.
You know,
that's Scottish, isn't it?
They just did a procedure on my shillelagh.
Why don't you...
I'll be laid up for a little while.
Why don't you come a little closer and let me really work some magic on your pot of gold? Yeah, the clovers are lucky, but I got something more exciting under these boots. All right.
Okay.
It's going to be rainy today for your St. Patty's Day, but that shouldn't stop you from coming over and joining us at Nathan Bill's at 11 o'clock for a good old pint of Guinness and a neutral seltzer, just like they did in the old country. We got to watch our weight, you know. There's so many calories in that Guinness. You switch over to the neutral seltzers for a week, and you drop 16 pounds.
My cholesterol's awful high.
You lose all that weight mostly from the draining from the liver they do from the cirrhosis that you have.
I got a precocious cirrhosis.
My friend Patty lost 16 pounds just from that one drainage last week.
And his license.
And he's drinking it up again and filling it back up. It's 55 degrees in downtown Springfield, and that's the news on Rock 102. St. Patrick's Day with a high of 56 tomorrow. Sunny with a high of 58. It's 55 right now in downtown Springfield.
Now, I don't know about your dog. I don't know. I'm pretty sure my dog could care less about things like corned beef or cabbage or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it is Pet Poison Prevention Week. So you've got to be very careful what your dog winds up eating around your house.
That's right. And Jen from the Good Dog Spot is here to talk all about Pet Poison Prevention Week. Good morning, Jen. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me today.
Now, let me just give you an example of how I think this is all malarkey, because my dog has not only eaten many piles of trash, but once an entire tube of Desitin diaper cream and still lived to tell the tale.
Well, that's very good.
Yeah.
In most cases, some of these dogs that do their dumpster diving can actually get something what we call garbage poisoning. Especially if they're starving, they will eat everything in the garbage and unfortunately wind up most of the times in the ER.
And I'm obviously just joking about this because it is a pretty serious situation where you don't know what they're getting into. If they get into a trash can or something like that. But there are more things that, other than just trash, that can be dangerous to pets. And what are some of those?
Well, most are your common household items where you see most of the poisonings. Dogs and cats are curious by nature, so they will often use their noses to sniff out things. And unfortunately, some of the household products that we have are actually good smelling and good tasting to a dog. And they will ingest it pretty quickly, causing an emergency situation. Bleach, even suntan lotions, hair dyes, those type of things are very poisonous.
It is hard to walk away from a bottle of bleach, I got to tell you. It's so delicious.
Well, even
according to some people, it might be.
Clorox does have a nice taste to it.
It makes things so springtime fresh.
But even I know people who work on cars and things like that. Coolant. Antifreeze is actually
a very dangerous. Yes,
but it's a very supposedly I haven't mixed it in a while. It's a very sweet tasting type of liquid.
Yes,
which can be obviously deadly.
Yes, and when you're changing the antifreeze in your vehicle, you're not only worried about spillage and your dog actually licking the product, but even walking through the product. Pets lick their paws, and oftentimes liquids and even powders can be ingested into the dog pretty quickly after they lick their paws.
This is Jen from the Good Dog Spot. Before we went on the air, we're talking about what kind of dogs we have, and you mentioned you have hounds. Does it matter what kind of dog you have? I mean, like when it comes to hounds, you have a sight hound or a scent hound, and you would think that a scent hound would probably be more attracted to how things are smelling rather than what they're seeing in front of them. Does the breed of the dog or does that make any difference?
Yes, I think your hound dogs would probably be more prevalent because their noses are definitely better than a lot of the breeds. But essentially, no. It really depends on the dog's background as well. Typically, if you found a dog that is used to finding food on the streets, they may have developed a habit of seeking out trash and still going through your garbage whenever they have the opportunity.
You talk about I'm reading your the press release here. The foods that can be dangerous. We've always heard the chocolate thing.
Yes.
Is it deadly, or is it just something that's going to make them very sick? Because I've had several dogs that have gotten into when they shouldn't have candy bars and things like that. They didn't succumb to those foods, but they did get very sick. With gastrointestinal issues, things like that. Is it really something that is absolutely deadly? The chocolate.
It kind of depends on the type of chocolate.
Yeah.
If your dog was to ingest a little bit of chocolate cake, per se, it might not be as bad as eating
pure
Baker's chocolate or dark chocolate.
Right.
If your dog was to eat, candied chocolate that was darker in consistency, and had more of the cocoa to it, then yes, your dog would get sick. But there is a certain amount per pound of the dog.
Right.
But I would say on a side of caution, anytime your dog eats chocolate could be an emergency.
Caffeine is also a problem.
Yes.
What about decaf or a Senka?
Yes, just because of the components that are in the coffee itself.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. At the worst case, your dog is going to experience a very bad stomach problem.
See, my dog knows when you've replaced his coffee with Folgers Crystals.
My hound dog has a love for coffee too, and we have
Yeah.
to be very careful when we have coffee cups out.
Grapes and raisins,
Yes.
which sucks because grapes would seemingly be, it's a nice little snack for a dog, but that's not a good idea. That can cause what's happening there.
Yes, in a very small amount of grapes or raisins, which raisins are actually worse. If your dog was to eat those, it basically can shrivel up their kidneys, and that is always an emergency.
One of the things that this I found surprising because there is a kind of sugar called birch sugar that's on your list here, and that can be found in some sugar-free gums, candies, even some peanut butter. I mean, how many dog owners jam like a whole bunch of peanut butter into a Kong and let the dog go nuts?
Correct.
That might not be great for the dog.
Correct. Yes, you always should check the ingredients. And as a side of caution, if you are unfamiliar with what an ingredient is when you're giving it to your dog, check with your vet. Birch sugar is formerly known as xylitol. A lot of your products still listed as xylitol, but are now starting to change it to birch sugar.
And I know we don't have too much more time here, but you offer these Pet Saver classes.
Yes.
To help. Tell us a little bit more about those.
Yep. Well, I'm a certified pet tech instructor, and I teach pet safety, CPR, first aid, including poisoning and all of that good stuff for classes. And we're actually having one on April 27th in the Northampton location. Several times a year, we offer these classes to our clients so they can not only become certified for 2 years in pet CPR and first aid, but so they can have a peace of mind and know how to react in an emergency situation.
I don't know if I want to give CPR to the dog who just went out and,
drank from a toilet or something like that.
Totally. I guess you got to do what you got to do in an emergency.
Yeah, eats its own puke, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Any day I think I would take a dog over a human, especially this week when we have St. Patrick's Day going on.
Fair point,
Very
Jen.
good. Very
Fair
good point. The Good Dog Spot, 2 locations in Chicopee and Northampton. You can go to gooddogspot.net or call them at 413-534-1333. Jen, good to see you. Thank you very much.
Too. Thank you for
Thanks
having
for coming
me.
in.
It's 8:59 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Rock 102 is the expert of all things classic rock. Pool Construction are the experts of hospital, private, medical, and industrial facility construction. Together, as the Stream Team, we deliver Springfield's classic rock everywhere. The Rock 102 app, your smart speaker, and rock102.com.
All right, spring is almost here. Is your water system up to par? Well, if you don't think it is, then you need to call the experts. And the experts are over at Aquapump. They're the experts on all water supply systems. They install, service, and repair oil pumps and tanks for all wells and carry a complete line of submersible and jet pumps, water filters, and supplies. They also specialize in treating contaminated water. So do it once and do it right. Find out more at aquapump.com, only in Stafford, Connecticut.